Hi.
How are you doing? Are you surviving this cost of living?
You see, I didn't respond to you. How are you doing? I said, Well, I'm still here. I'm kicking.
You're kicking, you're kicking, you're kicking, you're kicking, you're kicking. So, I mean, everything's going up.
Nothing is coming down.
Nothing is coming down. Our wages are not rising.
No, not at all.
How are we doing this?
You mean how we're surviving this?
Yeah, how are we surviving this cost of living crisis that is happening right now? And you don't know who to blame.
Good question, really, though, because your standard of living is not really changed. You have to buy the necessities,
You do. You
food,
don't
especially
have a
when you have
choice.
children.
Yeah.
You continue spending. You spend more anyway. Well, how we're surviving this, I really don't know. I think in the past, what would have happened is maybe you have extra money to keep for rainy days. Now you
Yeah.
don't have that. That's completely depleted. And we're more in debt because one thing that is I noticed that we've been doing is spending more on the credit card.
Yeah.
And that's just not on.
Yeah. No. I don't think it's. I think it's across when we speak to people. That seems to be the pattern at the moment.
Yeah.
And I say this, even Misha, no kids, nothing. If I could tell that my food shop is more expensive,
Yeah. it
and I'm
is.
essentially food shopping for myself as a single person, and I'm thinking, like everything has just gone up drastically, and I can see the difference. And it's either that, or when supermarkets try to do that thing where you pick up an item and it's still the same price, but the waiter has gone down.
Oh, wow. For real?
Yeah, because like it's something that maybe because and like they do just so that you kind of feel like
I see.
yeah, but actually they've decreased the weight even though it's still the
Oh,
same
wow,
price.
wow.
And there's like little things like that. I remember at one point like you could get chicken wings, like a box of chicken wings was about what £1.40. Then it went to £1.69. Then it went to, now it's reached £2.
Yeah.
So I'm just watching it all. And my mom and I were having this conversation. I'm like, eggs were not that expensive.
Yeah.
Now, like, when I look at the prices of eggs, and I don't understand what's going to happen.
I think eggs and olive oil is why I saw the trajectory going that way.
Yeah.
Olive oil is the 1 liter one, Lidl's one, and Sainsbury's one, and Morrison's one. They weren't like much difference. They were about £2 something.
Yeah.
And it crept up to like £3 something. But it is £6 something now for that same bottle in Sainsbury's.
Yeah.
And that just went like that. And eggs, like you said, just went like that. I don't know whether the quality of this produce has dropped. I know Asda came up with a thing like the Savers one. People complained and said it kind of identifies poor people. But I don't care.
No, because honestly, because I feel like because I've had to just be a bit smarter and be like,
How?
at the moment, Aldi and Lidl, I love them because things are.
You didn't walk into Aldi and Lidl in the past?
Before you should be like, oh yeah, let me go.
I haven't been in Aldi still, so.
You still haven't been.
No, I haven't. Because I'm this person of, how do you call it? My behavior. Once I'm set in my ways. So I've always been in Sainsbury's and Morrison's.
Right.
And I'm particular about if I go into a shop, I know where I'll get my eggs. I know the aisles already. I don't like going to shop and asking questions. So if I'm used to a particular Asda, I will never go to another branch. I keep coming to that one because I know where the oil is already. I know where things are already. Going into Lidl or what's it called, Aldi's gonna give me crazy.
I mean that makes
anxiety.
sense. I can understand why you would do that though if you're used to it. But I've had to be like, absolutely.
Yeah, you're right though.
I just go in, I'm like, and when I try different shops, I'm like, I'm doing calculation in my mind. I don't even go to corner shop to pick up.
I don't even think Aldi is even that cheap any longer.
Really?
Because I went into Iceland with a friend recently. They went to get something particularly from.
Yeah.
I think only Iceland did it, and I started picking things up for myself. And the Iceland I knew from before, all of those things I picked up would have been on the tenner.
Yeah.
And when I got to the tea, it was about 28 quid. So I don't think those stores like Aldi and Lidl has gone cheaper. They increased over time as well.
No, the prices have definitely gone up. Because like I said,
how much are you really saving?
This is the thing. But the thing is that from my perspective, I'm like, that at least it's cheaper than going to Sainsbury's.
Is that not just a mind thing?
Do you think
so? Because Sainsbury's has got their own brand. It's also the same thing with Waitrose. People say, Waitrose is expensive. No. I've been in Waitrose shopping, and when I came out, it was cheaper than I would have done in Sainsbury's.
Yeah.
Trust me. And
I've heard quality, people say that.
So I think it's a mind thing that people think Lidl is cheap. Lidl ain't cheap. Aldi ain't cheap. Lidl, I know. I don't really go into Aldi, but Lidl, I'm comfortable with because I know, again, the aisle and everything I was looking for. I'll spend less time asking shop assistants questions.
But what I will say is that when I go shopping in Lidl, I'm not going to lie, I like the deluxe range.
What is that? Oh yeah.
Yeah, I do pick up.
I like the bakery.
Yeah, and
the fresh.
The bakery is fantastic.
I like the nuts as well.
Yeah,
it's
the
good,
bakery is fresh. I think even the
nuts
bakery,
has gone
stuff
up.
has gone up.
Yeah,
everything
they've gone
has
up.
gone
Yeah,
up.
they've gone up.
And honestly, like I sit back and I think it's quite a shame that the government is trying to suppress trade unions from striking and asking for better pay.
Yeah, I have a different opinion on trade union, but before we get there, people are skipping meals.
Yes.
People are not having to put on heating.
Yeah, they can't because they can't afford it.
I've seen stories of people I work with, they're riding the bus longer than they would normally do so that they don't come home to put on the heat. People are having to put more clothes on.
And I think actually I read an article that the NHS is dealing with more cases of hypothermia because people are not being able to turn on their heaters because they can't afford it.
Yes. So there's an implication for all across the country. There's an implication for all of that. So it's not just about the food. Food is very essential because you would die if you didn't eat this, and you need heating because it's cold.
It's cold.
Or you said, you get hypothermia, and it has an implication on the health system, and it pressures everybody. Affects your tax. Affects my tax. So it's all like that. Coming back to your union question, I've always had issues with unions, though, because I thought, did they really stand for the common man? I don't know if they did with the actions,
But I would say that right now, in this present moment, I can only speak of like what I see them doing right now, all the strikes and everything else, and it's purely because of pay. And I absolutely understand why, because I'm like, there's nothing worse than you being a hard-working person, and at the end of it, you can't pay for your necessities.
Okay, not being able to pay for your necessities, if they increase your salary, I think things with cost of living and in the sense of food and all of that essentials like energy will go up to match up with the increase. So I don't think it will even be effective. What I would have loved people to do is really come out, forget about union, just come out like the French people would do, en masse, go out there and crumble this government. Because the unions are kind of unionized and they kind of come out with a uniformed approach. They do the ballots, whether we should go out, this is how far we'll go. They sit with the government.
But I say this, right? I think the UK public, right, the British public are not angry enough, in my opinion.
Oh, thank you. You can say that like 2 million times.
They are not angry enough.
They're not. The
government is taking the absolute...
You can try this in Germany or France. So
I mean, France tried to raise the retirement age.
Oh, you don't try that in France.
And they went out, they caused a complete havoc in the city. The UK government has sneakily done it. Nobody has reacted.
Because we're so distracted by so much.
But
and again, the union too. That's why I don't like anything organized, especially with unions.
Yeah. Okay.
I think they're in cahoots with the government as well. That's my belief. When it comes to the nitty-gritty of things, they're in cahoots with the government. They're not allowing the necessary distraction. They're not allowing people to think through by themselves and see what is really going on. Because what they're doing is putting the cases of the nurses, which is vital, and train drivers on our faces. But that's not the main issue. Not all of us are train drivers.
Of course.
Not all of us are nurses.
No.
Not all of us are doctors. No. Not all of us are teachers. Mm-hmm. Some of us are just ordinary parents.
Yeah.
Who have been hard hit by this current economic crisis. Yeah. So we should be addressing the real issue, crumbling the government in place. And in crumbling the government, it's not that I have anything against the Tory government. I'm saying whatever government is in place at that time, crumble them. If we have to come together and have a unity government that would take into recognition what is happening, the suffering of people, then great. But unions will not allow you to do that because they're multifaceted. They're bringing different issues into the fore, and people don't know what to think about.
Yeah. But
like I said, a lot of us too, we're not hungry because we have credit cards to spend. I believe if my kids went really hungry, I'll go into the next supermarket to rob for food. And if the supermarket then come out and did something to me, I'll blow out my own story. But because I can still put my credit card, pull it out of my pocket and pay for food, with the hope that things will get better and I'll be able to pay my bills, I'm not angry enough to go out on the streets.
Yeah.
You see where I'm coming from?
Yeah, no, I completely understand. I completely understand where you're coming from. But I feel like for me, it's because I always say it, right? Fair enough for us, yes. You might not have the ability to save a bit of spare cash. But then sometimes I sit back and I think about the people that it's like at the end of the month, there's nothing and you've got kids to like...
There's a lot of them like that.
And you have to... Because I remember I watched this documentary, it was just like and he was like, he goes without food so that his kids
There's loads of people like that. You only need to walk into some of these supermarkets and you see how people shop. I'm not boasting. I've actually paid for couple of people shopping.
Yeah.
And just went up to them and said, "Can I pay for your shopping?"
Yeah.
Because you could tell they've been in the shop, walking around the aisle, spending time around there like half an hour. What they've come up with is just 2 cans of sausages and those very, very cheap ones,
Yeah.
and 2 cans of beans. And
Oh,
you
yeah,
know that they really wanted more.
Yeah.
And if I don't do that, what I've done is also Morrison's has got these packs outside of their supermarket where you just pick them. They're already pre-packed with food items.
Yeah.
So I just pick a couple and pay for them at the tin, and you leave them there for people to pick up. I hope people are using that. But we shouldn't get to that extent. And rise of food banks. It's not a good thing to have food bank.
No.
Although I do signpost people to food bank, I do refer people by virtue of my job to people to get food. I never liked food bank because I thought a society with a food bank is a dumb society. But again, if you look at biblical times, they had storehouses and it's replica of food bank, and God did say, "Bring your food into my storehouses for those who are needy." So, but it shouldn't be. It was only for the period where there was famine.
Well,
It wasn't all time. But we've been using food bank as a substitute to live.
Yeah.
And it's not just people who are on benefits; it's professionals.
Yeah.
I would benefit from food bank as well. If you were giving me some vouchers for food bank, I'm pretty sure it would save me 20 quid every month.
No.
That's where I'm coming from.
Yeah. But I think because of like the cost of things, that everything's gone up. Everything has really just risen so drastically. Electricity bills are more expensive. Gas bills are more
Don't
expensive.
even go electricity.
And it's so difficult because you need these things essentially. So it's like, what do you do? I mean, I say this, like I live with my mother. We're 2 adults. We don't have to. It's really we don't have to turn on the heater. I just put on a jumper.
Extra.
Yeah, and you're okay. And
There's
you're
a lot
fine.
of people doing that
But
as well.
yeah, but if you have young kids,
Well, I do.
you can't. How are you going to tell a 2-year-old
I was-
go and put on 5 million?
I was having a conversation with my
It's just
16.
not feasible.
I was having a conversation with my
You have to
16-year-old.
turn on the heater.
I said to her, "You need to go get a job because her NI came through the." I said that means you need to go get a job. That's why the government gave you an NI. Oh, mom said I should wait. I said you did that. You ain't waiting. No. The bills are going up. You need to go get a job. When do you want her to work? I said I don't know. Go get a job. If the government didn't want you to get a job, they won't send you an NI. They're telling you something. Go get a job and support us. You know what I mean? I'm saying it jokingly, but it's out of the abundance of our heart. It's usually tough times.
Yeah.
I don't know how I do it, but I know my credit card bill has gone through the roof, which shouldn't be the case. But that's what has happened. But that's not my money I'm spending. I'm just increasing my debt. One day I have to pay it back.
You have to pay it back. Yeah.
Is that responsible? No, but I've got to feed myself,
family.
feed my family. I got to pay bills. If I don't pay energy bills, they'll cut it off. There's no sympathy in this system. There's none at all.
No, there isn't.
There is
and,
none.
And I think that's the problem. And I
That's why
say
we
this,
need to
and-
crumble
and-
it.
And I feel like when you even speak to the average person, because I say this all the time, I feel like the UK has this weird culture where it's like, oh no, it's not that bad. Back in my day, we had to do this, that. And it's almost like...
Do you want to go back to your day? Absolutely not, when you didn't
And
even have
sometimes I
any
sit
chance.
back and I'm like, people are complaining about the fact that like they find it difficult to afford, like basically they find it difficult to meet their basic needs.
Yes.
And then Maslow's hierarchy of needs, if you can't meet your basic need, everything else is just... And people are struggling to meet that basic need. And you're having conversations about, discussions about it, and somebody is telling you like, oh, it could be much worse.
I think, yeah.
How much worse could it possibly get?
I don't know what they really want, whether they want us to go back to the days of when we have to go dig before we... I don't know. If the times were so good, they should just do time traveling and go back anyway.
Yeah. No. But it is really sad because I think the UK does this great thing of signposting about poverty in other countries. And I'm like, there's poverty right here.
There is poverty right there because
right here.
Because of my job,
That we're
my
not
position,
dealing with.
I see all of these. It's real poverty, but the people don't even know how to fight their case. Trust me. We're so distracted by so many things. If it's not the gender issue, it's immigration. If it's not that, it's some MPs putting his hand where he shouldn't put his hands, and we're distracted with all the reality TV. There's so much distraction, so people are not really focused. And truth be told, the public ain't informed anyway.
Yeah.
The public ain't informed, whether deliberately or not.
But
They're not
I
informed.
think that although I don't see how, I struggle to see how the Tory government is going to turn this around.
They're not about turning this around for anyone. They're about turning it around for themselves and their financials.
And their financials.
Yeah, people finance these people. People pay their money. The way they speak, you will see, you will hear and find out those people who are their backers. They finance the big boys who back down, the big girls. And those are the people they're in it for. It's a shame that people don't really understand what government is. We elect you as not the best of us, but we thought you can handle our situation while we manage other things.
Yeah,
This money they're spending or they're saying is there or not. It's our money.
Oh
It comes from our taxes. They do send you your tax statement yearly. It's our money. So why can't we live? I'm not calling for a utopia. That's far-fetched. I'm saying there's no justification for the energy bills to go so high and for the same energy bills, the company directors to earn millions in compensation or whatever. There's no reason for that. I'm not saying take all that money from them.
But that's the thing. The funny thing is that means that the companies are not running at a loss.
No, they're not at all.
Because they're still making very huge profits.
Of course.
In order to be able to pay out such huge bonuses.
Okay, let's look at it this way. In times of crisis, we're asked to come as a nation. Like when COVID hit, we all came as a nation to bear the burden of everything. We weren't giving money. I didn't get any help from the government. I didn't. I was left to my own device.
Yeah.
People made money. The MPs got increased. They got free laptops to do their business.
Yeah.
My kids never got a laptop.
Yeah.
And God knows they needed one. But we were sharing my laptop between 3 kids and me. So it was, it was quite difficult. So we came together during that time because we had crisis. They rallied us to come together. Why can't we do the same? During the so-called Ukraine Phantom War, they asked us to come together, pick a Ukrainian. Yeah. Adopt a Ukrainian. It was a slogan. You go to airports, adopt a Ukrainian. We came together again in that crisis period. Why can't the government and the people say, let's rally together and come together, and instead of fewer people instead of majority of the people in society to suffer this, we can come together and cushion all this suffering so that people are not left out, and the energy companies can come together too and say, we'll take some of the burden off you guys.
Is that because also, right? The people that are essentially making these laws and these rules, they're not being impacted by it.
You've said it all. So in a nutshell, that's what it is.
So they obviously do not give excuse my language, SHIT.
They don't give a damn. The truth is this, I'm not joking. We elected the MPs as one of us from our end.
Yeah.
But none of them care about you, really. None of them are impacted about this. Their salaries are massive. They get compensation. They employ their friends, employ their brothers, employ their husbands, employ their wives, employ their daughters and children. And they claim expense for drinking tap water.
I wish I could expense.
They claim expense for buying Evian bottled water. Even the Labour MPs who scream high murder like they're saints, they claim more than the ones on the opposite bench. So what are we talking about? The people need to be aware of this, that none of these fellas are for them.
Yeah.
And they need to stand up for themselves and ask the really critical questions. They're not. You elect your local councillors to the local authority and they go there, they heap burdens on you. I want to be a bit biblical. Jesus Christ said, come unto me, the yoke that I lay on you is light. You elect these people who claim they're going to make life better, and they get it, they start increasing things. They start increasing council tax, telling you all flimsy stories. Why their salaries go up,
but
yours don't go up.
What it is as well, just like in terms of also like from their perspective, right? Central government, right, has cut a lot of their budget.
Hey, that's too much talk.
I mean, I can only...
They have autonomy to spend money. What are they spending it for? They're spending it for virtue signaling. Like the mayor of London, it's wasting our money on ULEZ. It's wasting our money on 20 Miles Road. We don't need that. It's beautifying streets. It's putting trees, making cars not go through streets. For what? Do I tell you that I want to hang out in the winter on my street junction and be drinking tea outside? No.
Yeah. No.
So you're stifling business. Yeah, it's the same thing they do. Yeah. Local authorities, they're quickly to go to central government and blame them. I'm not exempting central government from all of that, but we got money, like recently, a local authority spent thousands of pounds to rename a street.
Oh, I know exactly which.
They call it, what's it called? Something formerly Black Boy Lane. And you still left that on that. But that money could have got to good use.
And also, like, speaking about that particular local authority, I know that it has a lot of...
They're woke people, innit? The so-called woke people. They're woke authorities.
Because like
we're spending more money on wokeism instead of the real issues.
But here's the thing, right? I remember having a conversation. I saw a discussion on Twitter. Somebody was like, "It's just because there's a bunch of gentrifiers who have moved into this area. Yeah. And now they're focusing on things that nobody gives a...
You need to go to that area. You need to go to that borough area and walk around. You see them with their Doc Martens boots and their white bottom trousers. You think they want to save the world.
And I'm like, the bottom line is that who cares whether the street is named Black Boy?
I don't care. You're spending money on painting the streets some different colors.
I think they spent £190,000.
Yeah, imagine that.
Renaming the street.
But you still call it formerly Black Boy Lane. What is it?
Point of it? When that money
could have been spent on better things.
Spent on better things. Because at the bottom line is, at the end of the day, is that Haringey is not an affluent.
No.
It's not at all.
And it's a lot of them like that in London. Yeah. Cut across Greenwich, Bexley Heath is just trouble. Yeah. Croydon. People are suffering. People are really feeling the brunt of this whole thing. Yeah. And these guys are wasting money on things that don't really matter.
Yeah.
Things that they don't really matter. They're in the abstract. We want food. We want our energy bills reduced. How are you helping?
How are you helping? Yes.
How are you helping that instead of trading blames? How are you helping this current situation? They're not doing enough.
No, they're
The
not.
people
But
actually.
I say this all the time. I think I find that a lot with like just in general, like being in the UK. Because I say like during COVID, how we went out clapping for cleaners.
Oh, I didn't clap. No, we exclude me from that.
Clapping for cleaners.
I never clapped. I said
Clapping for
never.
nurses.
I ain't clapping.
Clapping for doctors.
Because I knew it was
and
just.
after all that, I remember I made a joke, kind of like after they finished, she told them that she go use the claps to go and pay for their bills.
Yes, so and also Captain Tom was that time raising some money, walking around some garden.
Yeah.
I wasn't part of that too because I don't believe those things or those hype. Guess what? It turned out that the daughter and the husband were they were enjoying the money, setting up companies with paying themselves. All of this is what we're about in England. All this fake generosity, this fake virtue signal, and all of that. No realism about things. Go to Germany and France, you see real actions on the streets. We don't have it.
No, we don't. That I definitely agree with. There are a lot of virtue signaling in
the mayor and the councillors and the different borough leads will prefer to spend money on some flimsy cultural events and spend money and tell you they're bringing people together. They'll prefer that than to spend money on the real issues.
How can you really bring people together when the people that you're trying to bring together cannot afford
to eat
3 square meals a day?
You think I have time to come dance around when I'm hungry?
Personally.
No. Cut council tax. You can do that. You got a lot of money for that. Sitting somewhere. You're not doing that.
No.
You can afford to pay. You help people pay their bills, especially when it comes to electricity, especially this time. Let's come together. It's crisis period. Let's come together with the spirit we did. We adopted Ukrainian. Come together like we did in COVID times and rescue this nation. But hey, we're not doing that.
They'll tell you that there's no money left.
Yeah, there's money.
There's no. But I find it quite interesting that there's no money, but somehow the MPs were able to find money to help their friends get a load of bogus contracts during COVID.
Yes, people become billionaires.
Yeah, but then we turn around and then say that there's no
Just
money.
to quote Tupac said they ain't got money to feed the needy, but they got money for wars.
Yeah.
We're sending weapons to Ukraine. What's our business? Do we really love Ukrainians? We absolutely don't. We don't care about anyone, but we claim we care. Spending money.
With like the whole Ukrainian issue, I think when it comes down to it, it's more of a fear of empowering Russia. That's what it comes down to.
There's no fear there. People are just making money off of all of this. It's about money making.
Of course, that
Putin is making money. Zelensky is making money. We're all making money from it. So anyway, we're all making money. But people are hungry. That's why I want people to rally around and deal with that issue. We got a real crisis in our hands. People are dying because they can't afford heat. People are dying because they can't afford food.
Yeah.
Especially people who are vulnerable, the elderly, the young, and those who are ill.
Yeah.
But I don't see.
They're the ones
But we're worried about Rishi Sunak not wearing his seatbelt in the back of his car.
Who cares?
I really didn't give it thought. If I was the driver of that car, I would have just gone a sudden jerk so that he fly out. That guy would have done us a favor. So he bumped his head so we know, yes. But that's what we were bothered with that for a couple of days. People were talking about that.
Oh,
seriously?
And then, you sit back and you're like, in the grand scheme of things, with everything that's happening.
You're talking about Rishi Sunak and seatbelt?
And seatbelts. Yeah, that's the least of our worries right
now. It's the least of our issue. It's just amazing. People are hungry. You're talking about some dude who's a billionaire or a millionaire married to a billionaire not wearing a seatbelt. Who cares? That guy can afford private healthcare if by mistake he hits his head against the windscreen.
I'm sure he can probably buy the hospital.
Yeah, of course. I can afford it. You're talking about seatbelt, and the police came out. They gave him a fine.
A fine, yeah.
Who uses seatbelt at the back of a car anyway? Who uses seatbelt?
I think it was filming, wasn't he, or something?
Yeah.
He was making a video.
Who uses that?
Yeah, but I think it's just
we're concerned about so much things that we shouldn't be concerned about. That's just the country.
Oh yeah. I think that's literally been the pattern. Even with I remember during COVID times when we were more concerned about the fact that Matt Hancock was having a hanky-panky in the office as opposed to his failings and complete negligence as a health minister.
And now, who's getting richer? He's richer.
He's richer.
He's been on reality TV.
We allowed him to come on reality TV and people still patronize him.
Because he represents the majority of us. What we like is what he's doing.
What do we like?
When I say we, I use that in the collective. He reflects the majority of the people.
He reflects the majority.
He's a man, he's a human, he has his own feelings. It's exactly reflecting. It's like people looking at the mirror.
Yeah.
When they look at Hancock and Boris, it's a mirror thing.
It's a shame.
That's what they're looking at.
It's an absolute
But the real issues remain. The economic crisis remains. I'm in debt. I'm not going to hide that. Because like I said, I'm using my credit card.
Yeah.
But I'll prefer to do that than to let the kids go hungry.
Of course.
Or make the standard of living really drop.
Really
I haven't said that though. I've cut back on so many things like...
Are you still buying your whiskey? Remember you used to get
No, I
whiskey
stopped.
every
You see,
Friday.
it's good that you mentioned that. We're drinking water now. My intention was to get a bottle of whiskey while I was doing this, but I could not afford it. I looked at my bank account, I'm like, nah, you can't afford it.
You can't afford it, yeah.
It's more food on the table now than buying those, living on those
and
luxuries.
I completely get it, and I completely understand, because I've had to make a few lifestyle changes too.
Yeah.
So I really like going out to eat. Anybody that knows.
You've cut down on that, right?
Dude, have you seen me on my Instagram?
No, I haven't seen your pictures. Oh my gosh.
You know me that will always be out. Clink, drinking champagne.
So yes, that's true. I've not really seen that.
More sit back and just like assess my finances and just like reel it back a bit.
I think we're all having to do that.
Yeah.
But again, there are some people who don't have that luxury to do that. They don't.
Exactly.
You see, people say, "Oh, you need to be able to save money." When you don't have money, how do you save what you don't have?
How do you save? Exactly. And people say, "Oh, invest." You need to have.
You don't invest what you don't have.
In order to invest.
What do you invest? Your benefit. Those who are on benefits say they get their money paid. You want them to invest that, so they go hungry because of what?
This is the thing. I always say.
Imagine if they invested in Fly B or Fly Me. That's just gone kaput. By today, they will be finished, isn't it? Invest. It's not easy. It's only those who have spare money that invest.
Yeah. So there is a certain level of privilege that people don't want to talk about.
Yeah.
That you need to make a certain amount of money. You need to be able to make enough, right, to meet your basic needs and everything else before you get to
put some aside before you talk about
where you say, "Oh, let me put some aside."
Exactly. For investment, it's not everything.
Or for investment, for anything.
It's not like
if at the end of the month, right, you're struggling to even buy food. Is it investments you'd be thinking about? Of course not. That would be the last.
And sometimes some of them will say, teach people how they should go on teaching courses. Councils do that. I'm like, you're wasting money for that rubbish instead of just putting food on the table.
Why
people
don't
can cook, man. They don't need that.
To pay for the teaching courses? Why don't you give them?
But they want to be seen to be doing something.
Or something so that they can go grocery shopping.
It's why I say people don't understand government. That government is them.
Yeah.
They can pull this government down anytime they wanted to.
Yeah.
Because you elected these people.
Yes.
They can't turn around and be dictating to you how to live now because they've got a bit of salary on their hand.
Yeah.
Because they're your counselors, they're telling you how to live. Everyone knows how to live, trust me. But those who don't have money can't live like those who have it.
Yeah.
It's fact.
I agree.
But again, economic crisis or not, energy bills or not, cost of living crisis or not, those who will still eat at Noble will still eat at Noble.
True.
Fact.
That's a fact.
So, the economic crisis for you, cost of living for you.
Yeah.
Well, it is difficult.
Extremely.
So we're not making light of the situation. It is
Not at all. Not at all.
very, very difficult. And I think it's all over the world at the moment. But those, like I said, will stay drinking champagne first thing in the morning, they're still drinking champagne. The Bible says, those who have more will have more added to it. Those who have less, the less they have will be taken away from it. The Bible is the proper manual for capitalism. That's exactly what's happening.
Yeah.
Cities are being depleted. Those who have are still having more.
Yeah. And that's it for cost of living. Let's hope we can survive it.
Yeah. Sorry we ended on a dampening note, but hey, it's cost of living crisis. There's nothing to be joyous about.
It definitely isn't.
Well, let me go back to drinking water instead of champagne.